Leader of the Scottish Conservative Party announced her resignation. While she's been a vocal critic of Boris Johnson's approach to Brexit, she said the main reason she was quitting is because of her personal priorities. They'd changed, and they largely changed with the arrival of her son, Finn.
Where the idea of getting on the roads to fight 2 elections in 20 months would once have fired me up, the threat of spending hundreds of hours away from my home and family now fills me with dread. And that is no way to lead. Additionally, I fear that, having tried to be a good leader over the years, I have proved a poor daughter, sister, partner and friend. The arrival of my son means I now make a different choice.
Well, let's talk now to Vicky Pisarius. She is the author of MUMBOSS, and she says she now has a good work-life balance with her job as the blogger Honest Mum, and her children, 6-year-old Alexander and Oliver, who's 9, are here as well. But it wasn't always that way. She's going to tell us about that. Also with us is Liv Conlon, who is a company director who says she has reaped the benefits of introducing family-friendly policies when it comes to hiring staff. Thank you both for joining us. Vicky, I want to start by talking to you because you were saying before your previous job was as a director, and it just wasn't conducive to having your lovely boys.
No, I mean, Oliver was a baby and I was a TV director and a filmmaker. I'd worked very hard. Obviously, there's very few female directors. I think it's still only 7%, so it's quite low stats. I returned back to work and found it completely non-conducive to having a young family. I was away for long periods. You're working 12-hour days. You're essentially the mother of the project and the vision. So I struggled to be the mum that I wanted to be for my children. And luckily, by the time Alexander was born, my blog, Honest Mum, had become a business, and I was able to work flexibly. So where the film and TV industry had sort of failed me, as it were, the internet and the boom of online work had allowed me to be there and be at school and be there for nursery and not miss out on being a mum.
Which is so important, isn't it, to so many people. Liv, tell me about the family-friendly policies that you've introduced that have really helped mums with young families in particular.
Yeah, so basically I actually run a family business, so I get to work with my mum every day. So we're all about family. So at first we employed people full-time that were available at all hours of the day, but now we employ women who have young families. I need to spend a lot of time at home and need to have that flexible schedule. And working with women like that has been incredible for us. We get to support and empower these women to still support their family, but also have a career and a job that they love to go to that works around their schedule.
Vicky, do you think we as women have to accept that there are certain jobs that are not going to be flexible? It's not the fault of anybody, it's just not going to work when you've got a young family and you want to be around? Or do you think that companies need to do more?
I don't want to accept that. I think companies need to do more. I think that women are economically fragile now because we've got this workplace there's no equality, essentially. Why can't we job share more? Why can't we have flexible hours? The stats are there to prove that flexible working is a very successful way to work for the economy, and also so that we deserve to have a full life. Why should it be picking between motherhood and a career? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to support us. I've spoken to people that say, they wanted to return back to work and didn't want to work full time and had no choice in that. We really there needs to be lots of changes, and the government need to start getting things into action to support us on
Let
that.
me read both of you some messages which are coming into us, and thank you for those. Mark on Twitter says, as a single father raising my daughter and in full-time employment, it was the toughest moment I faced. At some points, it almost broke me. I had to reduce my hours and requested my employer to give me flexible working hours. Liz has texted us saying, unless you live and work next door to where your child has childcare or schooling, or a live-in nanny, or a non-working partner, or mutually child-convenient part-time work, forget quality family life for your children. And John on text said, I stopped driving for promotion to ensure that I spent more time focusing on my daughter in her younger life. I'm now looking to go for a promotion and she's going into secondary education. I think that it has benefited our relationship and benefited us. In light of hearing that, Liv, I just wonder, Vicky was saying there that businesses do more. Clearly, you're doing a lot. Has it been tricky for your business to make those changes so it's more family friendly? Has it cost you more? Has it been inconvenient, or has it been relatively easy?
To be honest, it's been a different perspective with our business. As we can make our own schedule and try and help others and make it work around them. My mum was like in full-time employment when I was growing up, so I know how hard that was, that she worked away, and we lost out on a lot of quality time. So when I started this business at 16, I thought that actually I want to help support other women be able to be there with their kids, but also do something they love in interior design. But in terms of trying to schedule that, it's actually not been too challenging for us, but it's been a lot more rewarding to work with people that have the same values, and we're very aligned.
Vicky, can you understand why Ruth Davidson made this decision yesterday?
Absolutely, completely understood that. I think that she's clearly passionate about politics, but has found that being away from the family is a compromise too much, and I understand that. I absolutely love directing. I equally love blogging, but a lot of women, this is a thing, they don't want to leave their jobs. Why should they have to? You touched on the childcare costs, and that's a big problem. There's lots of nuts here that we have to crack to support women who want to get into the job force. Why are we hemorrhaging these talented mums who would like to and also vitally need to work to support their families?
And of course, it's not just the cost, is it? It's sometimes getting childcare till 9 o'clock at night, if that's when you have to work to. It's always challenging. I want to ask you two, is it good having mum around?
Yeah.
You've got to say
Quite
that.
fun.
Quite fun.
Sometimes.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
Vicky,
you ever
thank
so
you for
much.
coming in as well. Liv, thank you so much for that. And thanks for your company today and all of the messages which you have sent in to us. BBC Newsroom Live is coming up next. Make sure you have a lovely day, great weekend, and we'll be back at the usual time, 10 o'clock on Monday morning. Have a lovely day.